So, does anybody remember Allen Iverson? He was one of my favorite basketball players. Does anybody remember what his nickname was?
The answer.
Yeah, okay, solid. Bill got a point. What about Kobe Bryant, RIP? Does anybody remember what his nickname was?
Mamba.
Mamba.
Yeah. Is there anybody else out there, whether it is a celebrity or whether it is an athlete that you guys know that has these alter egos?
First thing that came to mind was like The Rock.
Yeah, that's one of them. Yeah,
Mm,
Dwayne Johnson, right? The Rock. Anybody else? Let me ask you guys this because Jeremy, we're gonna create a character for you, man. But before we get to that, does anybody know the importance of having an alter ego? Like if you think about it, Allen Iverson, right? He was the answer. Michael Jordan was MJ. You know, Dwayne Johnson, right? He turns into The Rock. It's not like they actually shift and transform into somebody different, but mentally they do, right? Kobe Bryant goes into the Mamba.
Separate yourself from all the stress and anxiety of the day, whatever you're going through. You can put all that aside and become that other person long enough to work on the goals you're working towards.
Yeah. Okay. Jeff G, you were gonna say something too?
just flipping that switch mentally.
Yeah. I know with some celebrities, some athletes, it's kind of hard, right? Until you find one that kind of clicks and resonates with you. Personally for me, like yes, Allen Iverson was one of my favorite basketball players, right? The answer, you know, Dwayne Johnson, right? The Rock being one of my favorite actors, right? So I can resonate with that. But another thing that also resonates with me, guys, is superheroes. I don't know how many of you guys like superheroes at all. Some people do, some people don't. I personally do. Not like a huge like obsession over them, but I really like Batman, right? Because Batman had no quote unquote superpowers, but he was very crafty. But if you think about it, Bruce Wayne shifts to Batman, right? Puts on the cape, puts on, like his attire, his uniform, goes, defeats, Bane, Joker, right? All the bad guys, right? Saves Gotham. But it's that switch, right? And I feel like as many of us, as funny as that sounds, right? Hey, trying to become the own superhero of your own life, maybe that's why the athletes or the celebrities might be able to resonate with some of you guys more than the superheroes. Because if you think about it, those are real people compared to something that's, make believe that you only see in the movies. Whatever you can do to resonate with this, what I'm about to share with you guys, do it. This is 100% your Coach Joe woo woo nonsense, but it always typically does something, right? If you take ownership of it and at least have an open mind to it. But I want you mentally to learn how to flip the switch. If you think about it, Kobe Bryant, you mentioned that Jeff G, he went into that Mamba mentality, but did he go into the Mamba mode like when life was good? No, he went in it when he was under pressure. He went in it when he was underneath, right? When they were down on the scoreboard. That's when he flips the switch mentally. And I want you guys just to think about this before we dive into using Coach Jeremy as an example is who is your alter ego? Like give him a name, give him a character traits, give him all the cool stuff that maybe you don't have right now. So that way when times get tough, you can mentally, right, get out of that state of being, just like what Jeremy said earlier, right? And you avoid your insecurities, you avoid your flaws, and you just get this sense of confidence that overcomes you and just says, hey, instead of me thinking about trying to fix this issue at hand or this problem that I'm dealing with or this whatever the case may be, how would they think about it? What would they do a little bit differently about it? So let me read this to you guys. And then, Jeremy, we're just going to go ahead and use you as an example, brother. So I put in here, it says, I gave ChatGPT this prompt, which is it seems like some athletes and celebrities have an alter ego that they can get into that helps them shift their mindset and boost their confidence. I use Dwayne Johnson as The Rock, Allen Iverson as the answer, Michael Jordan as MJ, Kobe Bryant as Black Mamba, Beyonce as Sasha Fierce, Garth Brooks as Chris Gaines. Can you please help me understand what is the reason behind having an alter ego and is it helpful to have one? So, guys, this is what ChatGPT said before we dive into a case study with Jeremy. It says, an alter ego is essentially a different persona or identity that someone can adapt to help them perform, achieve, and handle specific challenges, right? With greater confidence, focus, and resilience. Remember, I said that, Kobe Bryant over here, he doesn't go into his Mamba mode, right? Back when he was playing and, hey, they're up, 50 points. No, he goes into it when they're down 50 points, right? So once again, this alter ego that I want you guys to get creative with. Bruce Wayne turns into Batman when Gotham's under attack. Bruce Wayne does not turn into Batman when there is no bad guys, when there is no, villains or anything like that. So you guys just got to keep that in mind mentally as we continue on. It says it's a mental costume, and I really like that, that allows a person to step into that role that brings out the best qualities or shields from self-doubt and why having an alter ego can be beneficial. So, few things here. Mental separation from self-doubt. Jeremy, didn't you mention that?
Oh yeah.
Yep. Mental separation from self-doubt. It says your regular self might carry insecurities, limiting beliefs. Brian Boss, you mentioned about, hey, you faced some inner, self-limiting beliefs this morning and was able to shine that light, that's awesome. Or doubts, but by stepping into an alter ego, you create a mental boundary that allows you to leave those behind and focus on being the best version of yourself. Okay. So then they use an example here, like how Beyonce steps into Sasha Fierce when she gets on stage. Okay. Over here, it says enhance focus and performance. All right. And this is all about, Kobe Bryant, right? The Black Mamba with his Mamba mentality. It says an alter ego often embodies traits or characteristics you have aspired to have, such as fearlessness, determination, or charisma. By stepping into a persona, you can align your mindset with your goals and perform a higher level. Resilience in high pressure situations. Athletes, performers, and professionals often face intense scrutiny and pressure. An alter ego can act as a psychological shield, protecting the individual from external criticism and enabling them to stay grounded on their mission. And they use, The Rock as an example with his acting. Permission to push boundaries, right? And they use MJ as an example for this one. And this is, like I said earlier, when me and my brother would do MMA, we would get into this Callari killer mode where we would get this tunnel vision and we would push ourselves. We're like mentally, hey, if that cage door is shut, it's kill or be killed. We just gave it our all every single fight. And that's why I think people enjoyed watching us perform. And it says here, sometimes your regular self may hesitate to take risk or push beyond comfort zones. An alter ego can give you permission to be the bolder, more creative, more aggressive in pursuit of your goals. Take note of that. And then real quick, it says here how to create and use an alter ego. So Jeremy, we're going to go off of this, man, as we're going to use you as a little case study. It says define its purpose. So just think about this, Jeremy, right? Like all of these before we continue on, right? Define its purpose. It says decide what you want your alter ego to achieve. Is it for public speaking? Is it for fitness goals? Is it for leadership, right? And don't just narrow it down to these three. These are just obviously examples, right? It says choose specific traits. Identify qualities that your alter ego will embody, such as confidence, discipline, or charisma. Give it a name, right? So Jeremy, I'm excited to kind of hear your alter ego name. Everybody has one, man. Use triggers, right? So triggers, right, such as rituals, outfits, objects. And sometimes guys, like, I personally don't like the word ritual because it kind of sounds like really, like, I don't know, witchcraft, really woo-woo, like stuff that I'm not into. But like, I like just, having something like a sticky note, right? Like, or for example, if you guys are in my office, you guys would see there's a huge Batman photo, right? And he's just looking like a beast, okay? Every time I come in my office, I see that. I also have Bible verses that are nothing but empowering, nothing but just, speaking life. I have my manifesto that's right there. I have several different medals right over here. Like, for example, the guys that did the mud factor, right? When we had our first ever Heartletics retreat, I got the medal. I have several different other ones from all the other marathons and races. I have images, right, of me and my brother fighting. I have obviously the wolves behind me, right? I got stuff over there with the gospel and with Jesus. So once again, like maybe rituals for you might be like a bad negative thing, but just put the X on that, right? And just put it as, okay, what can help you just put you in that state of mind, right? Shift that perspective, even if it's something as small as like a sticky note, Okay. Practice visualization. And this is huge. I believe it was Henry Ford that says, whether you think you can or think you can, you're right. Well, there's another quote out there that I don't know who said it, but it's before you can hold something in your hand, you first have to see it in your head. Okay. And there's so much truth to visualizing, right? it helps you once again to get into that new state of being of who you're trying to become. Jeremy, let's go ahead and give you an alter ego. Okay, so I'm just going to put in here. All right, so Jeremy, I just put in here right after you got finished up with everything. Please help me create an alter ego for myself. My name is Jeremy Wade. Below are all the details that you are looking for that you listed above. If you need any more information from me or have any questions for me, please don't hesitate to ask. So Jeremy, let's create this alter ego for yourself, brother. What is your purpose?
Leadership and servitude.
Okay. What is your specific traits?
Said I'm always rooting or helping the underdog. Situational awareness.
Well, I like
That'll
that.
sum up a,
Hold on, hold
that'll
on.
sum up a lot of it.
You got a good one right now, but I'm still writing this one. Always rooting for, and you said supporting the underdog,
Yes,
and then you said situational.
awareness.
I love that. What else?
I can read people really well. I can always find the positive no matter the situation. And then that last one, I have to be a little bit too trusting.
All right. What's your name?
Like I said, the Hulk, that's the one Connor gave me.
Love it. What are your triggers?
With that situational awareness, the environment I'm in, seeing somebody struggle, seeing somebody being bullied, put down, just seeing that person struggle with the lack of understanding in an environment they're trying to succeed in.
Last part, visualization. What is your visualization keys?
So with me, the biggest way I can visualize is through my affirmations.
Okay.
I'll start with the physical, 10% body fat.
Okay.
405-pound bench press. 405-pound deadlift. And then a 405 squat.
Okay.
Six-pack abs.
Okay.
Mentally, I tell myself, I build myself up. I'm strong and able to do what I need to do. I have the knowledge and tenacity to complete any task.
I put in here mentally strong and affirm to myself words of encouragement that helps me overcome challenges. Is that okay?
That'll work. And then
Anything
when it comes to my emotional and spiritual, extreme ownership. That's my whole words for this year is taking extreme ownership in everything I'm going to be doing.
Ready for me to hit submit, or is there anything else you want to add?
No, go for it.
Let's
I'm just
go.
going to ask some questions.
I like this already. So let's see. Everybody, this is Jeremy Wade's alter ego. I like it. This sounds like an exciting, purposeful alter ego. Let's refine the Hulk to embody leadership, strength, and empathy you inspired to channel. Here's a breakdown of how to bring this persona to life. Before we continue, man, you know what you should do, Jeremy?
What's
I
that?
feel like this would be solid if you did this for all of 2025. Change your name in the app to from Coach Jeremy to the Hulk. Like literally
Got it.
change your name because every time you're on the app, you have the workouts. Every time you complete a workout, it gets popped up as the Hulk just did ab circuit number 1. The Hulk just hit 10 PRs. How dope would that be? You know? All right, so it says here the purpose to lead with strength, wisdom, and compassion, empowering others to overcome challenges and find their inner light. Man, if that doesn't motivate you, you're probably 6 feet under. That's all I gotta say. Specific
I like
traits.
that.
Rooting for the underdog. Your empathy fuels your drive to uplift those who need it most. You never shy away from supporting people who feel unseen or undervalued. Situational awareness. You possess a keen ability to assess situations, understanding both people and circumstances with clarity and precision. Reading others. Your insight into people's emotions and struggles allows you to connect and lead effectively. Optimism. You always find a light at the end of the tunnel. Inspiring others, even in the darkest times. And then trusting nature. Your openness and belief in others, inspiring them to rise to their potential, though you temper with it with discernment when necessary. How
Right.
the Hulk comes to life. Man, I like that. So it says here, the Hulk represents not only physical strength, but also emotional and mental resilience, like the comic book hero. Your power comes from harnessing and transforming challenges into strength, both for yourself and others. Triggers, witnessing others struggle or lose faith in themselves, encountering moments of misunderstanding where people falter because they don't see their true potential, your own reflection on times when you've overcome adversity and become stronger. Visualization. When stepping into the Hulk, picture this version of yourself, physically powerful, with lean, muscular physique, 10% body fat, capable of 405 and bench, dead, and squat, radiating mental strength. Your mind is your fortress, filled with words of encouragement like, I own my outcomes. I shape my future. I like that. A leader who takes extreme ownership, accepting responsibility for their actions, and inspiring accountability in others. Rituals and anchors. I like anchors. That's a good word for that. Mantras for the mindset. I lead through strength and serve through compassion. Have you ever heard that before, Jeremy?
Yes, I have.
I've never once heard that, man. I lead through strength and serve through compassion. That's fire. That's an affirmation that I think every coach should embody at Heartletics.
I
It
like it.
says every challenge is a stepping stone to greatness. That's a good one. I often say something very similar. And then it says physical anchor, a wristband, chain, or specific clothing item you wear that symbolizes the Hulk persona. For example, a green bracelet or necklace that reminds you of your mission to lead with strength and heart. That's freaking dope. But once again, don't you guys find that there's so many times we do these ChatGPT questions, there's often resemblance of Heartletics because what do I always send to you guys, right? The wristbands. So once again, embody this. So for you, Jeremy, maybe get a wristband, necklace, shirt. I don't know. I think just change your name to Hulk on the app because you're on the app every single day, and every time you do a workout, it literally says the Hulk just did a workout. I think that's an anchor within itself. But this is a great analogy, also. Next up, it says action anchor. Before stepping into leadership moments, perform a mini routine like clench your fist, deep breathing, or lift your head high, imagining the transformation into the Hulk. I'm going to share with you guys here in a little bit, if I can find it on YouTube, one of the highlight reels, excuse me, one of the highlight reels of my MMA fights, and you'll always see me do the same like ritual, honestly, before all my fights. It's pretty dope. I'll see if I can find that here in a little bit. And then it says, how the Hulk takes action. Leadership and service. When you see others struggle, you step in as a calm, steady force, guiding them towards solutions. Empowering words. You use your situational awareness to speak directly to people's fears and inspiring them. I really like that, right? Speak directly to somebody's fears. Strength and vulnerability. You show that true power comes from owning mistakes and using them to grow stronger. 100%.
Absolutely.
Like if you don't do that, if as a man, right? Like if you're not doing that in your physical health, in your relationships, in your emotional, mental, spiritual health, like you're literally just putting like cologne or something that smells good on a pile of poop. Like that's all you're doing. You're not actually fixing the issue. Like it's still gonna stink, and everybody's gonna be able to see it. A vision of hope. You teach others to find light in any situation, leading by example with your optimism and resilience. And then it says here, if this resonates with you, try practicing it in a small real life scenarios where leadership and service are needed. Over time, the Hulk will become second nature. Your mindset will overcome challenges, empowering others. Let me know if you like any tweaks to that. What did you think, Jeremy?
I love it, man. That's perfect.
Isn't that pretty cool?
Perfect. That is.
So, you already have your manifesto created, Jeremy. What I want you to do, because I'm literally just going to copy and paste this and send it to you on the app, is print it out. That's all you have to do. And like
Okay.
have it right next to each other. You read your manifesto, you read your alter ego, and it's a side by side comparison, right? And remember, guys, like there's no magic spell when you're reading this, but what it does, right, in every single mindset technique that I share with you guys, and please understand this, okay? Because affirmations can work good for somebody and horrible for somebody else. Visualization could work good for somebody and horrible for somebody else. Meditation could work great for somebody and horrible for somebody else. Just like how going to the gym could work good for Jeremy, but horrible for somebody else because they don't have time to go to the gym, right? Or maybe they don't know what to do in the gym. Bench pressing could work great for Jeremy, but maybe horrible for somebody else because they don't have strength in their chest and maybe they're not trying to just get a stronger bench press, whatever the case may be, where it's discouraging rather than empowering them like it is for Jeremy. Jeremy, why am I telling you guys this? Right? Because in everything that we talk about Heartletics, it's about learning what works best for your body type and your lifestyle. All the mindset shifts and techniques and habits that I try to teach you guys, it does one thing. It gets you from a low vibrational frequency into a higher vibrational frequency. Let me just share with you this because in case you guys never see me pull up this chart before, maybe this can kind of shift things for you guys mentally. That way you can say like, oh man, I can see why Joe teaches and talks about affirmations. I can see why Joe talks about meditation. I can see why Joe talks and teaches about this. It's not necessarily you need to do it. It's just that, hey, even as simple as a manifesto or create an alter ego, what helps you get out of this state of being where it's a low vibrational frequency into something a little bit more happier, something a little bit more positive. That's all I'm trying to say with all this. Jeremy, since you're unmuted, have you ever seen this before?
Yeah, it's been a couple of years, but yeah, actually studied that in my counseling classes.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of truth to this. Like this is not a religious thing. This is not a spiritual thing. This is literally just like how it is. Like it's emotions. That's literally all it is, right? But you guys can see in here that there's some low emotions and some very high emotions. Um, I'm sure you guys heard this plenty of times because I want this to be where you guys hear this and see this and be like, man, this actually makes a lot of sense. This is not no woo-woo stuff, okay? Jeremy, since you're unmuted, have you ever heard that your vibe attracts your tribe?
Absolutely.
Okay, so have you ever had a time in your life where you walked into a room and you felt like there was tension where you can cut it with a butter knife where you're like, man, it's just something about this place. Like everybody's like on it, tense and on edge? Has that ever happened?
A lot.
Have you ever walked into a room where you're like, man, there's just a bunch of positivity here. Like it makes you feel better.
Oh yeah.
Okay. Now, let me just ask you this one simple question. Would you much rather walk into a room where there is tense and anger, even though you're not seeing any fights, you feel it? Or would you much rather walk into a room where there's love, joy, and peace?
Oh, the second one, absolutely. You want that peace all the time. You walk into the other one, it's going to pull you down into their level. You're not going to be able to raise the room up.
Okay. Going off of what you just said, because that was beautiful. If let's just say you walked into a room that was full of negative toxicity and all that stuff, and remember, you're not seeing anything, you're not hearing anything, but you feel it. And you said that pulls you down to make you now feel negative, to make you now feel, anger or whatever the case may be, fearful. And let's say you leave and you bring that home, maybe at the, family dinner table. Do you think that would eventually pour into them as well because your vibration is now rushing off onto them?
Absolutely. Your energy is going to feed off into other people, whether positive or negative.
Yeah. So it's exactly the same thing, guys, when it comes to, hey, how do we switch from that negative to a more positive? The stuff that we go over, the gratitude journaling, the meditation, the visualization, the affirmations, the manifestos, creating an alter ego. There's no woo-woo behind all this. All it does is just gives you a little piece of technique, practice, if you want to call it that, as like a pre-workout before your workout. What does that mean? Hey, I'm going to start off the day by doing something that makes me just feel better. to taking me out of a negative mindset and a negative, emotional plane into just a higher one. I'm not saying you're going to be enlightened or, feeling peace every single day. Like, absolutely not, right? This is the real world that we're living in here. But it does help if, let's say, you can shift your perspective and read a manifesto or an alter ego where it's like, oh man, I embrace challenges. Well, hey, the next time I'm dealing with a challenge at work, or next time I'm dealing with a challenge with, let's say, an injury, and I'm reading something about how my alter ego, right, embraces challenges and they never give up, guess what? That could help give you the fuel, right, to get to that next level to overcome those challenges. Real quick, Jeremy, give me some feedback, man, after going through all this, because you've never heard me once talk about an alter ego or anything like that before, right? And obviously, as a coach, being here, so many years, you're constantly learning new stuff from me, right? So I want to know your feedback. And this is why specifically I wanted to put you on the hot seat when creating an alter ego.
Man, it's not something I ever really thought about. I think it's something we should all do, especially, as coaches in our leadership role. We definitely need to step outside of ourselves and, look at it from a whole nother perspective, not just our emotional attachment to what we're doing or what we've been through. That dictates into life too, because so many situations have so much uncertainty in it. The person we are today isn't going to be able to handle that. And sometimes we've got to be able to step outside of ourselves and handle that situation